mean, Dawkins, for example, who's probably the most famous living blatant atheist who's making a moral case for atheism, he parodies religious belief, especially of the Judeo-Christian type, as worship of the, big daddy in the sky, which is virtually a quote from him, the sky daddy. And part of the problem with that formulation is that it's simply not true. Like the characterization of the divine in the Old and New Testaments, and this is also true of many literatures pertaining to the domain of religious phenomenology, is much more sophisticated than that. It's not easily parodied, except in the manner that you can take an oversimplification of any complex belief and parody it. And so the book I wrote is a walkthrough of the multiple characterizations of the divine in the standard Western canon. And I'm formulating this way for a very particular reason with regard to you. So because you start with your chapter about the reality of God. The essential claim in the Western canon is that there's a unity underlying all things. So you could think about that, for example, on the positive side as the unity of beauty and truth and love, that there's a unity that underlies all things, that it's an active process, that unity, and not merely a static state, and that it's the kind of unity that is related to you in a manner that's best characterized as a relationship. And I think those are now it's also a sacrificial relationship, which has certain implications, but that's the basic argument. And, the counter argument is that there is no underlying unity, that the virtues and the goods do not sum into something that's commensurate, and that you have no relationship whatsoever between you and the infinite. And I don't find those contrary hypotheses particularly credible. For example, do we believe that there's no unity underlying, say, the manifestations of truth and beauty and justice, all the things that we consider positive virtues and good? Are they not united under some rubric that approximates the good as such? And are we not in some sort of relationship with that good? I mean, it's very dangerous to put forward the contrary suppositions. It ends up tilting people in a nihilistic direction or a hedonistic direction, or it tempts them to worship power as an alternative uniting spirit, let's say. So anyways, that's how I've been conceptualizing this same question. I'm curious about why you found it necessary and desirable to open your argument with this proposition that God is real. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, well, I found it necessary because I think it's the most important of all. I found it desirable in part because I was able to bring a dimension to this that is maybe complementary to the one that it sounds like you're bringing in your upcoming book. And I will use that as a chance to say the only thing that I would not take issue with, but expand on what you just said is that I don't think that that's actually limited to the Western philosophical worldview or to even the Judeo-Christian tradition.